Hello everyone. So I'm here today for another How I Built My Maker Biz. I kind of wanted to start with a little bit of a quote. If you didn't see my post today, the quote says, "Positivity doesn't erase the bad, it just highlights the good." And I think it's so important right now, and there's so much negativity and heaviness right now in the world, and it's really hard to get past it sometimes. And it's not saying that, you know, it's not happening or that by being positive you're negating it, but it's something important to remind ourselves of. But I wanted to introduce Jess today. She is my guest, and she is one of these people that just radiates positivity and sunshine, and I just love her, and she just makes me smile every time I see her in my feed. And she's here, so I am ready to go. Yay! Hi, everybody. Let's see if it works. Is it working? Yay!
Hello! How are you? I'm good. How about you?
I'm good too. I
Amazing.
with Kelly yesterday, and now here you are with me. So I'm so excited.
All of the lives this week. It's so exciting. I love it.
And look at all that fur behind you.
I know. I like. So it's 6 p.m. where I am, and like the light is starting to. The natural light is starting to like fall. So I was like, what's the brightest room in my house? It just so happens to be like my new craft room. So like this looks fine, but like this on the other side, it's still in ton of boxes. So.
No, I'm there with you because this looks pretty good. Like,
yeah.
This
like space here.
Like your for creative roots, I'm like, well, let me show you the other side of the hot mess.
But as long as during the live we're like staying here, we're good to go. Totally. I feel like a lot of us are in that position though. Like especially right now, it's like transitional time, busy time. So like we've got stuff going on everywhere.
Yes. Well, we have the illusion that we're together, but we're not.
Absolutely. Instagram tricks us a lot. Absolutely. It makes everything look like so perfect and like it's just not the reality all the time.
Reality. Like I'll be honest with you right now, like we've had a small fire pop up near where I am, so it's been really smoky the last few days.
Oh no.
So I've barely even gone outside,
No kidding. Absolutely.
Can't even take any pictures. I mean, but anyway.
You find ways, but still, it's definitely more chaotic behind the scenes than it seems sometimes, for sure.
Totally. But anyway, so I'm so excited to chat with you today, but why don't you give a little introduction about who you are and what you do?
Sure. So I'm Jessica from JBK Crochet. I am a crocheter, faux fur palm maker of obviously. I've tested many patterns over the last year, and I'm now starting to design, which is really exciting for me. I've been crocheting for like just about 2.5 years, so I'm still like rather new to it and like new to like the maker community, but I'm super passionate about it, and I feel like the amount of time that I spend crocheting like makes up for the years that I wasn't, because I'm crocheting all the time.
Totally. Well, and it's like what you're saying, the community is so amazing, and it's like once you find it, you're just like, I don't want to leave.
I know. I feel like I already, like when I first started crocheting, I knew that I really liked it. I knew that it was going to be a big part of my life, but like when I found this community, it like blew my mind, and I think if anything, it like drove my passion even farther. It made me even more excited. So I feel like my passion for crochet is like equally matched with like my passion for the community that we're in and all of the other aspects of having like a little side business.
Totally. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Tell us like how did your crochet journey start? How did you learn? Like what made you decide to start?
So whenever I learned from my grandmother at like a really young age, and like I love the time that I spent with her crocheting, but it just didn't stick. Like I think I was like 9 or 10. So like I was appreciative of the experience, but I never continued doing it. And then when I was 27, so just like a couple years ago, I was at home and then just kind of like sporadically decided that I wanted to take on a new hobby. And so I went to Michael's and like did a walk around, and like crochet hooks caught my eye because they were probably like the most familiar thing to me. And then
so colorful.
Yeah, exactly. They're colorful, very attractive. The yarn is really soft. It was definitely like late summer, and I'm a big fall girl, so I think that like the soft yarn was like super attractive to me. So I just picked up some yarn and picked up a hook and started crocheting and like watching some YouTube videos, and then I like got addicted for sure. I absolutely fell in love with it. I think I started off by I'm really ambitious. I started off by following like a little bear pattern and thought that I was going to go, I know, I was like, I'm just going to follow this video and learn how to do it too.
That's
so
amazing.
It was a lot of fun. I absolutely loved it. And then now I feel like I haven't let go of a hook since. I just keep going.
That's so awesome. I feel like our journeys are very similar because same way for me, I moved to Colorado and I'm from California. So, you know, we have actual winters here.
Yes.
And that was kind of what grew me to knitting. And yeah, taught myself on YouTube, like went to the thrift store and like, oh, there's knitting needles here.
Yeah, let me try this out.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, it's so amazing. Crochet is the same, you know, it's like you just see something coming to life.
Exactly.
It just feels awesome.
I totally agree. It's like it's like magic where our hands become magical. Like we create something out of nothing, and it's just such a cool experience and brings so much pride. Like I remember how excited I was when I was finished my first piece. I was like, oh my God, I need to show everyone. My bear didn't even have eyes on it. And I was like, look at what I made.
Totally. So you did complete, that was the first actual project that you made?
It was, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I feel like I choose something and I just want to commit to it. I'm like, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to find a way to complete it. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun for me. And I think it was a fun place to start because it's a lot of single crochet. So you're repeating the same like simple stitch, but learning how to increase and decrease at the same time. So it was a fun place for me to start, I guess.
Yeah, very cool. So then from there, once you started learning, you know, once you were crocheting and stuff, how did you then kind of move into this maker business status?
So it's kind of a fun story for me. I just started an Instagram page strictly just because I was like so excited about my crochet stuff and wanted to post photos and didn't want to like fill up my personal feed with all of my crochet stuff, only because I wanted to keep the two separate, I guess. And so I started my Instagram page. There was very little interaction, of course, because I was like brand new. But then as I kept going with Facebook and Instagram, I started getting orders for like people emailing me or inboxing me, asking me to make hats for them and stuff. So I just started just selling hats like by accident. It just kind of like happened that way. And then getting into the maker community, Katrina and why don't I know her? Nina Bella Knits. There you go. So Ottawa has like a huge maker community, and that's where I live in Ottawa, Ontario in Canada. And so Nina Bella Knits was doing a giveaway, and an extended family member of mine tagged me in one of her giveaway posts. So that's how I found her. And she invited me to go to like a local sip and stitch. And I had no idea what those were. So I was like, yeah, let's try this. And then when I went, all of the ladies in the group, there's so many that are a part of this community, like kind of opened up my eyes to the possibility of this like maker community, because they were all doing like so many things. They were doing markets, had like incredible Instagram pages, websites. They just like really put into perspective that I could do something with this maker biz that wasn't just like offhandedly selling a hat, but I could do so much more. So I feel like indebted to them because they like really exposed me to what the possibilities of this community are, and I'm so grateful for it. Like so grateful for it. So I'm glad that kind of accidentally happened.
Yeah, well, that's amazing, and it's so cool to hear about like having a strong community that you could actually meet in person, because that is like my dream, to like meet a lot of you in person.
It's so much fun. It's like neat because it's almost like when you see people on Instagram, you can like dehumanize them. Like you turn them into like these perfect humans in your mind just because their feeds look so perfect, their stories look so perfect. But then when you get to meet people face to face, it really like puts things into perspective, and you're like, okay, we're all human. We all just are like having regular conversation. We've all got some crazy things going on in our lives, and we all share the same passion for like knit or crochet, which I I loved it. I'm so happy to have met those people. And now doing lives like this almost feels the same. I feel like yesterday talking to Kelly, who just joined. Hi, Kelly. And now talking to you, I feel like it gives me like a similar feeling where I'm like, oh, like it's talking to someone that I've watched on Instagram for so long. And now it just feels like we're just two regular people talking to each other. It's so nice.
It is so nice. And I think that's kind of why I've continued doing this live thing, because I kind of started like, you know, because I actually live in a really tiny community. I've met a couple people here and there because randomly I live in a ski town that's like people come to, and I've had people, hey, I'm going to be in Steamboat. And I'm like, you are? Because like,
what?
I started living here, like there's no one. I'm like 3 hours I'm 3 hours from the closest Michael's, you know, like
that's a little far out. That's a far, but beautiful though. Your photos always absolutely blow my mind. I was actually looking at your feed yesterday, and my partner Mark was beside me, and he was like, "Where does she live?" Like your photos are like so amazing all the time.
It is really awesome to live here, and it's like, you know, there's obviously outside is life, but yeah, it's like there's no community in that sense. You know, there's people like other maker things, but no knitters.
For sure.
Finding knitters on Instagram and then like being able to talk like this has been so awesome.
Yeah.
But
I love that you've done it. I think it's a fun opportunity because I feel like I've definitely found new pages by watching your videos, and like get to learn more about people that I've already been following in the past. Like you've really created like a beautiful experience for people to be able to feel more personable or more involved in the community as well. I love it.
Oh, yay. Thank you. Well,
of course.
You think too, it's kind of like what you're saying, you can look at people's feeds and it's just like, it's not real life, you know, like it's highlight reel, it's, you know, the highlights of everything. And
exactly.
Like, you know, you kind of mentioned this on your chat with Kelly yesterday, you know, we curate our feeds, you know.
Absolutely.
You know, so we're picking and choosing what we're sharing and all that stuff, but you know, talking like this, you can actually hear people's voices. You can like see them moving in like real life.
Exactly. See, like our hands move all the time. Like, see, like you almost get to know more about like our quirks and personality traits. When we have an opportunity to talk like face to face like this, it's hilarious. I like it. Totally. I'm definitely enjoying joining other people's lives right now. It's a lot of fun. It's like a really nice experience for sure.
Yeah, well, and you just radiate so much joy, like even in just photos, like outside of video, like just even your photos, you just radiate so much joy and happiness. And I think your feed is so amazing and inspirational. So can you talk a little bit about like how you've developed your aesthetic and like that kind of thing?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. First, you're very sweet. Thank you so much for saying those kind of things. I think absolutely the same thing about you. I'm obsessed with your feed. So my feed, I feel like I'm very attracted to like neutrals, but also earth tones, like mustards, olives, like, I don't know, like things that you would find like in the forest kind of colors. I'm very foresty. I love camping. Camping is like my thing. I go camping every year. I like going fall camping, summer camping, spring camping. I've even gone winter camping. I just enjoy the outdoors in general. So I feel like I try to tie that into all the photos that I do. I've also always just genuinely loved photography. Like I've loved taking pictures, capturing moments, and making things look pretty. So that like really Instagram kind of appeals to that part of me as well, which is nice. It's like another creative aspect of what we do. But definitely fall neutral palettes, like that's my thing. Neutral earth tones, that's my whole aesthetic on Instagram. And I try to like mix it up. I personally love having like faces on Instagram. I love having either myself or my family members like model items for me, just because I feel like you get a really nice idea of how they look on people. And you like a flat lay is gorgeous. You can't go wrong with a beautiful flat lay, but also being able to see it on someone like sparks something completely different in the photos as well. So I feel like mixing all of it together is definitely beneficial. Like my feed's kind of all over the place except for the palettes the same.
But I think that's what makes it really cool, because it's very real. It's not just, you know, everything's staged. It's like, you know, you have something on a model, you have something on yourself, you have something in progress, like all the things like that. So
Yeah.
you take when you do the photo shoots, you're the one taking all the pictures too?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Always.
Do you have a background in photography from before, or was that just something you love?
It was just something that I loved. I never like took photography. I've always wanted to. It's always something that's kind of like been in the back of my head of even like a career direction that I could have gone into. But it's always just kind of stayed a hobby. Ever since I was younger, I love taking photos everywhere. And I think I just naturally like developed different skill sets around photography, like by watching videos or like taking a photo and then altering it to make it look that much better. It's just something that I myself have been really interested in. So it's definitely benefited me in this area for sure.
Yeah, well, and like you're saying, it's just another creative outlet. So
that's it. Yeah.
It kind of combines like your fiber passion with photography passion, and then like the creative eye and the art. Like, I mean, we're all learning, right? And
absolutely.
So it just, I don't know, it's really cool, which is kind of like why the Creative Roots thing that Kelly's been doing has been so fun, because
I love it. Yeah. I'm 100% going to be participating every single week. I think it's such a neat idea. I loved your prompt. Your prompt was like amazing. I loved it so much. I love branding too. I love branding, the ideas behind branding, understanding why and how other people got like their brands together. It was such a fun one for sure. And I think getting to know the makers and the reasons why they choose their prompt is going to be just as fun as reading everyone's posts too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, even with mine, there's so many, right? And I tried so hard to read them all. It was like,
there's so
like
many.
Overwhelming. Some of them are so deep, and you're just like, oh my gosh, like this.
I know. Yeah.
I need to look into that on myself. But it's so cool because like you're saying, of course, Instagram is a visual platform. So in a sense, the way we're representing, whether it's just our creative hobby or a business, it's kind of like, this is just a reflection of who we are in many ways. And I think for makers, especially, like, we put so much love into our work that we are the brand. So
literally,
yeah,
exactly.
Whatever you're showing, like, that's what it is.
I completely agree. That's like the best way to say it. Like, I feel like definitely as maker, we are our brand. Like, we really pull from ourselves and put it out into the world. So, and that's why I fall in love with so many feeds too, because I feel like we're all very genuine in what we share. And like, it's kind of like an opportunity for us to be vulnerable and artistic at the same time and express ourselves in a way that like the rest of the world doesn't always allow us to. Like, I can't just pull out my hats and my headbands and like show and be like, this is how I want to express myself. Not everybody would understand it. Whereas like in our little maker community, we find so many like-minded people that are able to kind of resonate with what we're sharing and empathize with how we're feeling. So it's really beautiful connections that we're able to create within this community. Like, definitely with our artistic side, but also just with like socializing as well. Like, I've connected with so many incredible people, and it's something that I would have never been able to do because we're not close to each other in real life. So
yeah, well, and it's just such a supportive space too, you know, which is just incredible. And you know, it's really still mind-blowing to me, and I feel like I say this in everything I do, but the maker community is truly just like so special. And there's this quote actually I saw that was like, you will always have competitors. No, you will always have competitors, but it's your choice to be in competition. And I feel like it's so true, because like obviously a lot of us make very similar products and have very similar items, but the thing we love about being in this space together is it's because you get each other. It's not like you're competing against each other. You're just hopefully inspiring each other or supporting each other or whatever, you know, and collaborating, like all of those things, which is so cool. But yeah, I don't know.
I think that's honestly like the biggest beauty of like the most beautiful part of the maker community is that we make exactly the same thing. And instead, rather than competing with each other and like trying to surpass someone else's successes, we like uplift each other and support each other and kind of encourage each other to grow as a unit. It's really beautiful. And like I know that I've learned a lot from so many other makers, because I feel like I'm still at the very like beginning of my maker journey as well. So and so whenever anyone reaches out to me, I try to support as much as possible too, because I'm like, I know I got this feedback. I know, like, by reading other people's experience, I learned so much. It's just so, it's a really a beautiful concept, and I don't know how it happened, but I'm so grateful that it did. I'm so happy that it did.
Same. And it's just like, I don't know. It's so, I don't know. It gives me all the warm fuzzies. But
Yeah.
so since we were talking about Creative Roots prompt, do you want to talk about your prompt and kind of, you know, just bring it to light for everyone?
Absolutely. So my Creative Roots prompt this week is organization. And it's essentially sharing your tools or your systems and how you keep yourself organized. And my favorite thing that Kelly and I were talking about is the struggle juggle, which is like, I feel like all of us are experiencing it. We have right now, we have like so much going on. We have our personal stuff going on, maker stuff going on, work stuff going on. And this time of year, we try to manage all of it. And it's just finding a way to keep organized and to make sure that we're following through with everything that needs to get done. And I've been having such a great time, like, reading through the hashtags. I'm learning so much. I hope that other people are learning too as they're reading through. I think it's definitely a great one to like keep in our back pockets, like re-looking at the hashtags for inspiration later on, because I truly believe that as we grow as individuals and grow our little businesses, we need to like our organizational, not necessarily skills, but systems need to like evolve with us, because our needs a few months ago may be different than what our needs are right now.
Mm-hmm. And even not even needs, but even our creative minds and like our life, like what we're feeling and all this stuff, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah, I need to read some of those because my life feels very off the rails right now.
I was like, it's really funny that I'm choosing, like, I feel like I'm like a generally organized person, but like this time of year, like I still feel very chaotic just because like work gets really busy and like this little maker biz gets really busy at the same time. So there's just so much going on, and I'm glad that I think this year is the first time that I'm using the system that I've chosen to use right now, and so far it's working. It's still only September, but I'm satisfied with it right now, and I'm curious to see how other people share it too.
Yeah, well, and we're always learning. I feel like every season I think I'm going to try something new, and I do, and then I'm like, okay, well, then next year, like, this is going to happen, you know? And
Exactly. Absolutely. Lifelong learning is so important, though. Like, I think we always need to be open to learning from our peers and learning from others' experiences. I think learning is very important, and if you think that you have it all together, you kind of plateau. But if we're constantly learning and open to absorbing the information, then we'll just keep on growing, which is like the idea for sure.
Very true. No truer words. You're so wise. So talk to us. What is your day job then?
So I am a toy store manager during the day, and I love it. I know it suits my personality so well. It's so much fun. I feel like, because this time of year, of course, starts to get crazy for us. We do like free gift wrapping and all that fun stuff. So it feels like we're like little elves in a toy shop and like getting everything together for the holidays. It's a blast. So I think it's always ironic for me because I get really busy this time of year during my day job because it's getting closer to the holidays and people buy a ton more this time of year. And then also the maker biz gets real busy too. So I feel like if anyone wants to see me from September to like even January, it's like, no, sorry, it's a write-off. I just stay home and do all of the busy stuff and then start to like see people again in like February until like August.
Gosh, that is amazing. Well, yeah, you're right. It's like everything at one time, and especially since you make pom-poms, it's not even like you're making, you make knitwear, so you're kind of making supplies for makers who
I know.
And then the actual maker stuff too.
It gets a little crazy here. I swear. I feel like my whole house becomes my workspace. I'm like, I'm so sorry to Mark. I know you live here too, but like right now, this is a workspace for the next few months, and I appreciate your support.
And really help me. Just make sure Bring me pictures.
Absolutely. Mark is like fantastic. I feel real lucky. He like cuts fur for me often, which is super helpful because it's like a huge part of the process as a whole. I also have lots of little sisters, and my little sisters are very supportive as well. So whenever they come over, they ask me, like, do you have any fur that needs to get cut? I'm like, yes, please. And they just cut up or pre-cut some fur for me so that it's ready for me whenever I get the orders in. So I have a very strong support system, which is really nice too.
That's so important, and it's so awesome.
Yes, yes, I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful for sure.
How did you get into the faux fur palm side of things?
So, Sierra's Crafty Creations, actually, so not last year, the year prior. So my first year joining the community, Sierra's Crafty Creations was one of the first like pages I followed, and she sells faux fur poms, so I just bought a ton of her pom-poms during the season, and I loved them. Like, I was buying poms that I didn't need just so I had them because I loved them so much. I was like, I know I'll make something for this pom. So in the spring, she released an e-pom, like a pom-pom course, an e-course to like teach you how to make your own pom-poms. And because I loved hers so much, I made sure to get it so that I could learn how to make my own pom-poms. And so I started off only last season. So last September is whenever I started selling poms, and I had like 4 colors and like just loved doing it in general. And then it like blew up last season. I was not prepared. I was not ready. I didn't know that my pom-poms would sell so well. And obviously, like, I have a problem with buying fur. Now I've taken my right? Not at all. There's just like tons of colors behind me. I feel like I've changed my obsession with buying like single poms into like buying yards of fur because I think they're just so cute. They're like a beautiful little accessory, and I've had so much fun selling them too. Like, the process I think is very therapeutic for me because it's very mindless almost because I've just gotten so used to it. So I have busy hands, and as you can tell, I'm like, as I'm talking, but I have busy hands, so it's nice to like keep busy whenever I'm spending time with people. I can just make poms as well, which is a lot of fun.
Totally, which kind of goes hand in hand with the knitting and crochet, where you're just like doing something, you know.
It's so handy. I like if I'm going pre-COVID when I was going out for coffee with friends, I would always have crochet with me, and it was like. They expected it. They were like, oh, what are you making today? And I'm like, let me just pull my project out here. Just because I can't leave the house without it. I have to have something that I'm working on because I know if I'm going to be sitting for a period of time, and I'll just start ripping like paper or something. So I might as well be doing something productive.
Yeah, it's like you almost feel naked now if you don't have a project. You're like, something is missing, and it's very uncomfortable.
Absolutely. It's a strange concept. I remember one time, because I bring my crochet with me to work. So on my lunch break, I crochet. Whenever like I'm on a call, I crochet. So I remember one day I left my work at home, and I was absolutely like, not distraught, but I was just like, what do I do? What am I supposed to do during this time? I'm just going to sit here and do nothing.
You're like, oh, I'm on a call, but what?
But what do my hands do? What do I? Do they just sit? Like, what do people do when they don't knit or crochet? Do they just like sit at their desk? Like, I don't know.
I mean, even when you watch a movie or watch TV. Or
my God!
Right? I'm like, I don't know how. I mean, I guess it's okay to just sit too and enjoy. But
yeah. Oh, absolutely. But I can't.
Yeah, I can't.
I can't do it. I can't imagine just sitting down and watching. My hands would be so confused.
Totally.
Why aren't I being used right now?
Yeah. So talk to us a little bit about, I mean, obviously the toy shop just sounds really amazing.
It's so much fun.
On your space, but for your like crochet stuff, what really inspires you?
So a lot actually. I feel like I pull inspiration from a lot of different places, and sometimes some things inspire me more than others. So being outdoors absolutely is a huge inspiration for me. I love it's so much fun. I love the cold weather. I love like just seeing nature in general. Like I can't tell you how many pictures of nature I have just for no reason, just because I'm like, maybe this will be my background one day. Maybe I'll get this one printed. I think that I find a lot of inspiration in nature, and the textures in nature too. I feel like we can really tie into knitting crochet as well, like seeing how like the layers of the leaves of the grass. So that really inspires me for sure. Friends and family, I feel like inspire me because sometimes I'll see just what people are wearing and I'm like, I am going to make something like that. I'm going to find a way. So just being there and supporting me in general definitely is an inspiration for me within itself, my like little support network. And what else inspires me? Yeah, and photography in general. I love like my Instagram feed is full of makers, but also full of like different photographers and like seeing how they play with light and seeing their techniques, which only helps me with my business as well. So I'd say those are the three: photography, nature, and then friends and family.
I love that. Well, and it's just your description of even the layers of nature. It's like, that's something I've never really thought about, you know. It's just very dreamy, and I really like that. I'm going to start doing that.
Oh, I'm so glad. That's awesome.
To it, but
absolutely.
And it's so cool what you're saying too, like being inspired by other photographers, because I think photography is such a good example of what we were talking about earlier. Like, you know, how for makers, we were making the same stuff and, you know, often it's exactly the same, but exactly how we're sharing it and how we're showing it that's different. And photography is the same way. It's like everyone has a different photography style, like what you're saying with lighting, even like how you edit them, or like, you know, your perspective and like how you're capturing a project or, you know, a photo. And it's just like, that is so true for makers. And I think it's really important for everyone to remember that and to just be, you know, I think I've been just thinking so much about this since reading all those prompts from last week.
Yeah.
But it's just like, really, that's what it is. It's like, just be yourself and like, be that, just do that, do you know.
I love that so much. I feel like that's the perfect way to describe it. Absolutely. Like, just be yourself and like represent you. Like, I feel like when you're being true to yourself, like all of it comes out very genuine. I feel like when you're trying too hard to be similar to someone else or to meet an expectation, it only makes it makes it more challenging for you, and it takes the joy out of it as well. But like when you're genuine and true to yourself, it like really, I feel like it glows. It really shows, and like people are really receptive to it.
Absolutely. Well, so Yessie, here I need to read more of these things, but
I'm the worst at that. I can't read and talk at the same time.
No, I know. Well, we can scroll back and see what other people said. But yes, you said here, that's it. That's why we can't compare with another maker. There is just one of us. And it's so true. It's like, you can be inspired by other makers or like really inspire other makers. But if you're yourself, then, you know, you don't have to worry about the comparison in a way, you know, because you're just being you.
Exactly. And no one is as good as being you as you are. Like, no one, like, you are the best at being yourself. So just continue doing that, I think.
Yes,
for
and
sure.
In a sense, it makes it easier to share your stuff because it's just a reflection of you. You know, you're not trying to do this or trying to do that. Kelly and I talked about this where we're both not good at flat lays, and I remember trying so hard for the longest time to make flat lays happen because that's what I really enjoyed seeing other people do, and those are the people that inspired me. And then eventually I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna not try.
I'm gonna ask that. Yeah, exactly. Because it wasn't part. It didn't come naturally to you. It's not you. And now you found what works best for you, and it works so well. Like it really, like when you're doing what you love, you can't go wrong. I think that really looks amazing. Like your feed is beautiful, girl. I'm telling you, it is beautiful.
And it's so you, and it just radiates, and I love it.
Oh, thank you.
Andrea said, yes, both of you inspire me. You ladies rock. Well, you rock too. Andrea's stuff.
Oh, you definitely rock.
So what makers have you felt were your biggest inspiration when you first kind of connected?
So for me, I would say so I had three makers that I feel like I followed all the time when I first started. One is like the obvious one. Tony from Tail Yarn Crafts was like my favorite.
She's like all of our like favorite aunt.
I swear, I'm like, queen. How's it? Like, she's just incredible. Like, I love that she was so transparent. She shared all of her tips and tricks. She shared her experiences, her successes, her failures. She was very relatable to someone brand new to the community that didn't even know. I didn't even know that there was a community to be a part of. And like, I felt like I was a part of one just because of how she spoke and how she shared her things. So she was definitely like one of my top tier. The other two, actually I'll do one at a time. Knits and Knots Winnipeg is Janine is a sweetheart. I adore her. I feel like her aesthetic really spoke to me. I love her feed and her work in general. She's a beautiful knitter and crocheter. And she is probably the person that really got me wanting to make garments. She, like, seeing her garments, I was like, I know I want to make that. So the first garment I ever made was one of her Rowanas. And then shortly after, I tested for her. I was like, hey, I've never tested before, but like, I would love to try it. I've also never made a real garment before, but I'll try it. And she was like, come on. Like, she just kind of like welcomed me aboard. Like, she was really inspirational and motivated me to like, to do it with her. It was a fun process. She's fantastic as well. And then the third was Sierra's Crafted Creations. I followed her a lot too. She was the first she wrote the first written pattern that I'd ever followed, because before that I had just done YouTube videos, and written patterns really intimidated me. I was like, I don't know what any of this means. I need you to tell me with your words. I was really
simple.
I Googled everything. But I found her pattern very helpful for beginners and like very simple. So she was the first person for that. And she obviously inspired like my palm life. And she's wonderful as well. All three of them are fantastic. I still love following their journeys. And they still inspire me every day too. Their posts are like always on my feed.
Oh, that's so awesome. I don't follow Sierra, but I follow Tony and Knits and Knots, and it's cool too because they were also really inspirational for me, and it's
no way
in a way too to have seen also how their journeys have morphed and changed, you know.
Oh, absolutely. It's so much fun to watch, and it's inspirational to see how their journeys have grown. Like, I feel like just in the short time that I've been a part of this maker journey, they've grown like significantly, and just watching their process and them sharing their experiences, I'm like, I know we could all do this. Like, we could do it just because of how motivational they are too. It's awesome.
Well, and I think that's why this community is so cool, because we're all exactly like where we need to be. Like,
yes.
You're where you are, I'm where I am. Like, everyone's just where they need to be. We can't like rush ourselves forward or hold ourselves back or whatever. But it's cool seeing other, people that inspire us change, because then it's like, it makes you feel like, yeah, we can change and morph, and our journey is going to look however it's going to look. So
exactly. It's beautiful. All of our journeys are beautiful in their own way. And like, existing in the experience is beautiful within itself. Like, I love watching, I feel like everyone I know in the last year, like where people were this time last year and when they are now, have changed drastically. And it's just so fun to watch the experiences. I love it.
Yeah,
it's really so much fun.
It's very, very cool. But,
yes.
Okay, so let's see. Well, we talked a little bit about the outdoors and how they influence you. So how would you define success for your business? Or your
I feel
life, or whatever.
No, business is good. I was gonna say, I'm definitely like a celebrate all of the little things kind of person. Like, I finish a hat, I get excited. So for me, I feel like every day, every time I do something new, I categorize it as a success. I don't think I have like I have a lot of little bars. Like, I just want to, as long as I'm growing and consistently growing, I feel like that's success. Because if I plateau, I feel like I'm not working hard enough. But if I'm growing, that makes me happy and brings me joy, and that's successful enough for me. I think that setting goals that are, I'm definitely like SMART goals, like setting realistic goals, like goals that are attainable, but still push you out of your comfort zone, is really, yeah, I celebrate everything. I celebrate all of the little successes. I don't think that there's any one moment or one thing that I'm trying to attain. As long as I'm continuing to grow, I will be satisfied.
Yes, that's so important. And it's important to remember, because I think, you know, like you're saying, we can get caught up with comparison sometimes. But if you like look back at your own stuff and like even like a month ago, like, or a year ago, and just remember that, like look at that snapshot, it's like, oh wow, I've done a lot, or you know,
Right,
what
exactly.
I've accomplished, actually, you know.
Absolutely. Like every little thing is spectacular. Like it's just thinking about how 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I had no idea what crochet was, and now I'm like a part of this beautiful community. Like to me, reflecting on my growth like brings me so much joy, because it's just something that I never even imagined. I didn't know that I could do anything like this, and it's just really, I think everyone should be really proud of everything that they do, because I feel like being proud and happy of what you've done only motivates you to continue going. It's like positive reinforcement for yourself, positive self-talk. You can do it kind of conversations. Yeah.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Well, Country Knits by Monica said, I've been in this community for a year and I can't wait to see where I am this time next year. And I'm like, yes.
Yes, that's awesome.
Year snapshot, it really puts it in perspective, because sometimes I'm like, what did I even do this month or whatever? And then if you actually sit down and look, you're like, oh, okay, I don't feel so bad or whatever, right?
Exactly.
That much. It's like, it's okay too.
It's absolutely, it's okay. I think that's part of it too, is like accepting like that you need time to slow down, like acknowledging that you need to slow down and taking that time for yourself is also part of your success. Because if you go too hard too fast and like burn yourself out, or put yourself down because you're not meeting certain expectations that you've set for yourself, that can pull you back even farther. So I think really following like your heart and knowing what your needs are, because our needs in our personal life change all the time as well, and our work life change all the time as well, and that's going to really like change the flow of what this maker world's going to look like for us. Like I wanted so badly to post an Instagram post today. I didn't have time, and that's okay. Like you can't be upset because you didn't meet a certain goal. It's just knowing that you want to continue is part of the journey within itself, for sure.
Totally. Well, and I like what you said earlier about having very attainable goals, like one
Yes.
can reach, because that is really important. Because sometimes I feel like we put these super lofty goals on ourselves, and like these huge lists of things that we want to accomplish, and it almost can be paralyzing sometimes.
Absolutely.
Like having a few that maybe it's still a goal, like it's still a reach, like
Absolutely.
you have to work for it, but you can do it. Like that's so helpful, even mentally.
Absolutely. Exactly. And it's like positive reinforcement, and like you feel good about what you've accomplished, and now you can move one step further. It's essentially like breaking down your really big goal into lots of little goals so that you're still celebrating the successes as you go.
Totally. Can you share some of your goals for the rest of the year, or this year?
Yeah. So I'm definitely going to stay up late today. My first has been, and this has been like my goal, this is actually a really good example of like not being down on yourself for not reaching a goal that you had set for yourself originally because of like your life having different needs. My goal since like April has been to launch my own website and like have my own website to sell my poms on, sell patterns on, and all of that stuff. And every I feel like every 2 weeks I'm like, it's coming soon, and like just with life and the craziness that this world has been over the last few months, I just haven't been able to get to that point. So launching my website I'm going to be launching it on Friday. So I'm so excited.
Wow.
So excited. I know. But that, for me, is a goal that I've been working towards for, it feels like forever, so long. So launching my website, and on it, I'm going to be launching a blog as well. And that's big for me too, because blogging is always something that I thought I wanted to do, but didn't think I could do. So having blog content and working on it, I think will be a short-term and long-term goal, though, like being consistent with it and really finding my niche within the blog itself, I think is one of my goals. Finding where I fit and what I can bring to the table with my blog is going to be a goal of mine for sure. Pattern design is absolutely, like getting more into pattern design, designing garments is going to be like my ultimate goal for 2021. I have so many ideas in my head, but the like negative self-talk or fear, I should say, like gets in the way sometimes. You're like, oh, like, is it good enough? Is this going to work? And I'm a very like positive person, but like I think everyone has a little bit of fear when they're doing something brand new. So I'm super excited to try that within 2021. I think it's going to go very well. I think also because like I'm a plus size maker, so I feel like there's a lot of like smaller makers that design to plus size, but like I'm doing it backwards. So that's going to be a different experience too, because we all have like different body types. Everyone's different shape, size. So making sure that the garments fit everyone the way that they should is going to be really intimidating for me, but really exciting at the same time.
That is super exciting.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I think it's going to be, right? I know. this between September right now and September next year, I'm really excited to see the growth of my little business and like what direction I decide to go into. Because again, like this time last year, I didn't think I would be making palms like I do now. Like really, like you can start something small and then it can grow into something huge, or it can push you into completely different directions. So like these are things that I'm putting out into the world right now, but like I'm excited to see where I'm at next year to see like if they've changed or if I followed through. It's very exciting. I'm super excited.
Exciting. Well, and I think it's like I think I was talking about this with another maker on one of these, where we're basically saying anytime something hasn't worked out, like something that doesn't work, it's not a failure. It's just something that's pushing you in the right direction, you know?
Absolutely.
Like, you know, maybe not to do in a good way, you know, just like pushing you in that direction. So it is cool being able to look at it in that way. But okay, before I forget, because I've been wanting to ask, now that you bring up the garment stuff, you were featured on We Are Knitters.
Yeah!
With some of their kits. So talk to us a tiny bit about that while we still have some time.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was so much fun. I loved it. So I did a test for Janine from Knits Knots Winnipeg, and I used the cotton from We Are Knitters, and I loved it. Took some photos in it, and We Are Knitters shared it. And then a few people from We Are Knitters, they reached out to me and asked me if I would be interested in modeling their spring summer 2020 line, and I was like, I didn't know if I should say yes. I was like, this I was very intimidated by it because I had like just started using We Are Knitters yarn. I heard about it, like I didn't even know it existed until my like sip and stitches when everyone was using it, and I was like, what is this gorgeous yarn that I need in my life? So I was very new to whack yarn in general. So when they reached out to me, I was like, should I do this? Like asking people, what do you think? So I ended up saying yes, and then they sent me lots and lots of garments in the mail, like of like 2 different sizes or different colors. And they just told me to like be very natural, take photos, and I would send them to them, and then they shared them on all their platforms. It was such a cool experience. And like it shows like how testing though can expose you to so many. I feel like I've gained so many connections through testing because like through like different like brands like We Are Knitters, and then different people that I've built connections with. Like testing for me has been such a fun experience, and I'm thankful that I decided to test that pattern because it brought this whole new experience into my life that I otherwise would have never had.
Yeah, it's so amazing. I remember seeing your face on, on We Are Knitters, or like, because I had followed you before that happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my
Oh my God. I like freaked out. I was like, no way. I just couldn't believe it. I mean, I knew that I was sending them photos and they were going to use them, but I was like, my face is going to be on the bags. My face is on their website. I was like so flabbergasted, but it was so much fun. I loved it.
It's so cool. Well, and your photos were so awesome. And again,
Oh, thank you.
so much joy and like happiness, and I just love it so much.
I was like petrified while taking those photos too. I was like, Jessica, be yourself. And I was like, but I'm so scared they're not going to be good. But it was a blast. I had fun with it. And I just like got my sisters to help me take the photos. So I was like, okay, sweetie, you need to help me right now to snap the picture like this. And it worked out really well, which is nice.
When you have photos with you in it, since we're talking about it,
Yeah.
how do you have those? I guess that's always a question that people ask, like, how do you get your photos?
Yeah. So with photos with me in it, it depends on the style of the photo. So I have a tripod. My phone's on my tripod right now. My tripod is super helpful for me, just because I don't always have someone readily available to help me take pictures. And sometimes I need, or if it's just like a standard picture with like a plain background, it's a lot easier for me to be able to just use the tripod because I can work the camera in the way exactly that I want it. And then I'm lucky because I have, again, my partner and my sisters that also are always willing to help me. So my sisters are the ones that first started helping me with photos, but they're not here all the time, so I can't always rely on that. So then my wonderful partner, Mark, has become a beautiful photographer, and like every time we take the photo, I'm like, okay, just put it a little bit, just move it a little bit this way. Like I just kind of like work with him, and he does fantastic, and has opened up to the idea of helping me with photos now, which is really nice.
That's awesome. I feel the same. It's like my husband Rob takes some of them, and at first it's just like so disgruntled, like.
Yeah, that's how much he's like, are you? At first, they're not the greatest.
But for us too, it's like learning how to get photos taken, because I was
absolutely
always very awkward about getting my photo taken. So.
Same. I'm always like, am I like, I don't know how to like angle myself, especially to like highlight garments or like highlight the hat. Like you have to learn the product that you're modeling and then like work around it. Like photography, the photos don't come naturally. I feel like we take a ton of photos and I'm like, these 5 are great. These 5 right here, they're the ones.
Very true. Well, and even the tripod. So I have a tripod too, and a lot of my photos I just have like one of those Bluetooth remotes,
Yeah.
And that has actually been super helpful in even learning how to be in front of the camera, because it's like you're just by yourself, like no one's judging you, hopefully.
Exactly, right? You're just there practicing and figuring out what works and what angles you want for the products. It really does. A tripod is so helpful. I definitely need a Bluetooth like clicker thing, because right now I use a timer and it's so time consuming, because like you can only choose 2 or 10 seconds. And 2 seconds, I'm not going to get to where I need to be. So it's always Jen.
Totally. No, exactly. I actually just got the remote a few months ago, I think, because even in the winter, I didn't even have a tripod over the winter. I would like balance it on my backpack.
I love it.
It's snowy and you're like slipping, like trying to get to the spot.
Exactly. I feel like at the start we're all like I don't know how to explain it. Like we're like acrobats. We like do all these funny things to like get the perfect photo, and like we have to magically make our cameras balance on nothing to get the right photo. It's definitely, tools definitely have helped. Definitely. Like my tripod is a saving grace. I love it.
Well, like, so all of mine I take on my phone. I have like an iPhone XR, and I didn't even have one of those pop sockets before.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I'm
That is
using the socket, and it's so helpful. You're like,
it's so helpful. My puff socket is my life. I love it.
yeah,
It definitely helps with photography too, for sure.
yeah. Isn't that funny? You're just like,
I love it. I can't even remember a time where pop sockets didn't exist. That is like even to hold my phone, I feel like it would be really weird for me to just hold it without having it there. Whoever invented it is a genius.
very much so. I was like, I used to drop it so much, but
yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Hamilton Gina just said, balancing my phone is where I'm at. I don't run a business, so I'm back and forth on how much to invest in my hobby. Yeah, I mean, I think. So, do you have a professional camera, or does it?
I do, but it's very recent that I've had it. Like my first year and a half, of like starting my little maker biz, I did not. But now even then, I don't always use my DSLR. I like use it. I would say it's 50. Actually, I use it probably 60% of the time. And then other times I use my phone camera. But the picture quality looks great on Instagram regardless. Like both of them work really well. I think that I like my DSLR specifically because I like photography in general. So like I'll use different features on it when I'm out in nature. So I already have my camera, so I'll take pictures with it. But I think picture quality on both is fantastic. Like you can't go wrong. You can make them all look great.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, literally all of mine are from my phone. So that makes anyone feel better.
They're beautiful.
They're all the phone. And I think what helped me a lot is just learning how to play with light. And learning what angles to use. And it's kind of hard to explain, I guess. I think I have something from, I did an interview with an actual photographer, and we talk a lot about the light.
Ooh, that's awesome.
But she, she talks about just play around, like even just have, like, say you have a hat, have it in one spot, and just take it from all different angles and different, like, perspectives, and then kind of look at them and be like, oh, okay, so this is what, and that, again, learning by doing.
Absolutely. It's like trial and error. You need to be like, it's mostly like a time investment. Learn the different angles, learn the techniques just by experimenting, and then you'll find what works, and slowly but surely you'll know what works, and it will go so much faster. Like I think taking my photos used to take me like so long. And now I can get a good photo in like a good 5-10 minutes. I'll be like, okay, what do I need here? How do I get this together? Snap a few photos. It's done, only because I know what time of day to do it within my space. I know where to, if I'm outside, where the sun is in like in respects to where I'm taking the photos. Like once you know those things, you can plan around the right time and the right light versus just trying for a long period of time and getting what kind of works.
For sure. 100%. Yes.
Yes.
See, Country Knits by Monica. Fail forward. Yep, absolutely.
Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah. Okay. So, believe it or not, it's been pretty much an hour, and
oh my God,
countdown from Instagram.
Okay.
So we didn't even get to like half of our things because
I'm so sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I was like, it's just been awesome chatting with you.
So great chatting with you.
But thank you for coming on so much. To end it, if there was one piece of advice you would give to other makers starting out on their journeys, what would it be?
It's kind of like, I would say two that kind of tie in together. Just do it. Like if you are nervous about doing something new, I would say just dive in, try it, because you don't know you essentially fail right away if you choose not to do it. So get out there, do whatever you're nervous about doing it, because I think that you'll enjoy the experience and you'll know if it's the right direction for you. And then the second thing is setting boundaries. Mm-hmm. I think as makers, a lot of people that aren't in the maker community can be very demanding, not demanding, but like really want the product that we sell, not realizing the amount of time and love that goes into the product. So like knowing when to say no, whenever your schedule is too busy, and finding a life maker balance. So being able to say no in that aspect as well is very important. Those are my two. Dive in and do it, and set some boundaries, I think are two things that together set you up for success for sure.
Yes, 100%. Absolutely.
Yes.
But thank you everyone for coming and joining this
Yes, thank
live.
you.
I will save this on IGTV. I am a little behind on the blog post, but I will be getting to it soon. So it'll be up on the blog and YouTube. But thank you, Jess, for coming. It was so awesome to meet you finally.
Thank you for having me. It was an absolute blast. I had so much fun.
Yay! Okay, well, I will talk to you soon, and congrats on all the new stuff. We'll be looking
Thank
out
you.
for all of it.
I'm so excited.
Yay.
Thanks, girl.
Yay!
Thank
Bye.
you again. Bye.